Hey everybody, it's your girl Y Renee here, trauma recovery coach. So glad you could join me this evening. It is 7 o'clock on the dot. It is time for Let's Talk About All Things Divorce for the month of August. I'm so excited for two reasons. Just because you all are joining me, so those watching live and those watching the replay, I truly appreciate you. You all are amazing. And two, because as soon as he gets this notification, my little big brother Demont Polk will be on with me. I'm so excited. So you guys, we've been talking about all things divorce, really just a perspective on the divorce culture and marriages. And I'm a big, huge fan, and I believe wholeheartedly in this institution of marriage. I'm a firm advocate for it. However, I am a divorcee. And I was just having some conversation with people and we just started talking about some things. So I decided to invite a few friends this month to come talk about me. So if you all have missed the other lives, please by all means go back and watch them. They have been awesome with some good nuggets, some good tools, and some good tips. So here, I probably wore this shirt before, which is perfectly fine. But this is my niece's brand. It's called Curse Breakers. So you all should look her up. Anquanice. I don't know if it's Lamore on here or Pleasant, either way, but her name is Anquanice. If you look her up or look under Generation of the Curse Breakers, you all should be able to find her and get her merch. Shameless plug for my niece because she's always supporting me, so even though she gives me a hard time. Anyway, so let's just get started. We just have, like I said, just having some conversation while I'm waiting for Demont to come on. And hey Donovan, welcome. Thank you for always supporting me. That's my friend from Singapore, you all. He was raised right here in good old Bellwood, Illinois, which is outside of Chicago. And hey Nikki. And he has relocated him and his wife over to Singapore, and he is making a living over there and loving life. I follow him on Instagram and Facebook, and you can just tell he's doing so many things. Well, look at who decided to join me. Well, hey there, it's my little big brother, Demont. I'm going to bring him on shortly. Nikki, I hope you had a good day today. We can get this conversation started. Excuse me. Look at you. Wait, and then he done grew up. I'm mad.
Go on,
You got a
sis.
whole
Go
background. You got a
Go
whole
on, sis.
background.
Go with all that. Don't start no stuff on me today now. I said I'm gonna behave now. I need you to behave too.
Why? If we behaved, look. Oh, you did it, Nikki. Very good. Hey, if we behaved, we not us.
You're right. You're right.
There you
Absolutely
go. So
right.
there it is. I'm so excited. This is my little big brother. I'm gonna say little because he's younger than me, but he act like the big brother, which is awesome and amazing. I love him and his wife. We are part of an amazing crew of people called Next Level Speaker Academy, and I met him probably back in like December or January when I first joined the crew, and we had an opportunity to meet for the first time in person in July. And I promise you, the love that I have for him and his wife is authentic, it is genuine, and they know if they needed me for anything, they could call me. I'm on the first thing smoking if I can get there, I promise you. So
Right on.
I want to welcome you to the live. Love you, Nikki. I want to welcome you to the live. I'm so excited about this conversation. You got to join me, I think, about a week ago when I was on with some other people just having conversation. So I know you've had time to think. I know you've had time to add input. You've been on a few lives laughing and joking with us.
Yeah, I be clowning.
For me, this content has been amazing. So we'll just get right into it. Demont, I know the answer to the question, so I won't even talk about checking the box. So how this thing started for me was talking about how we would check the box if you're still single, being through divorce, or if you check divorce, whatever have you. But my brother is happily married to my sister who was on here commenting. But Demont had previously had been married before and has been through divorce, and that's why he's on here having this conversation. So let's get into that first marriage. How long were you married, if you don't mind me asking?
First off, sis, I gotta let you know. I gotta give you the whole rundown, man. See, I'm a two-time loser with this divorce thing now.
Oh, really?
You know
now,
what I mean?
I didn't know that part. Okay.
Yeah. See, according to statistics, according to society, I'm not supposed to be happily married. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a two-time loser. I failed twice. The first one only lasted like 2 months, but it was still a marriage, even though it was a no. Then you know how they do it when it's a no. It don't really count, but it counts because it happened.
Excuse me.
So that one only lasted 2 months. Ain't much to say about that, but You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
sorry,
It
one
was
second. Hey, Dawood, thank you for coming on the live,
Dawood, what
brother.
up, bro? Shout out, what's up, Literacy Innovations? I see
Well,
my
hey,
cousin
y'all.
from up
Hey, y'all.
there in
Next level
Cleveland.
family. Thank y'all for coming on. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, D.
Yeah. So the first time around, it was a high school sweetheart type of situation. Got married as soon as I got out of the military. Didn't last long. I wouldn't wrap too tight. Didn't really realize that I wouldn't wrap too tight. You know how it is. You always want to blame somebody else. And, you find out as you get wiser and you grow, you realize that every finger that you point at somebody, you still got 3 of them guys pointed back at you. So it was one of those situations. Very immature, really wasn't ready. Thought you was ready. You know how you think you want what you want, but you really ain't mature enough to handle, what you asking for. So that one didn't last long. Fell apart rapidly. And second time around, I thought I was ready. I still wasn't ready. I still was immature. The main thing was the insecurity. When you walking around insecure, an insecure man will become an insecure husband and an insecure father if unchecked. And the first marriage, we'll say the second one, it lasted about maybe 4 years, 4.5 years, something like that, give or take a few. So it lasted longer than the first one. So I did make it past the first starting line, made it a little bit further, but yet there was still a lot of growth and maturity that needed to take place on both sides. And I wear fully all of my responsibility 100%. But again, I'm gonna let you go and ask the next question.
Okay, thank you very much for breaking that down. So we got 2 marriages and 2 divorces. So you already said the first one. How long between your first marriage and your second marriage?
It was a good little minute. It was probably about 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you produce any children with the first marriage? As short as it was? Okay.
No.
So when we talk about the first marriage, even though it only lasted 2 months and you admit to some of your wrongdoings, what really do you think was the breakdown of the marriage?
I would say, one, when you have outside people that's not invested in the relationship, invested in the marriage, you know what I mean? When you're basing 100% of what you're doing on someone else's advice, and sometimes when you get advice from people that's not married, you tend to do, what they do, and it don't work out that way. So that's pretty much how it happened there.
Have you always been a man of faith? Meaning
pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So when you got into this first marriage, how old were you? You said right out the military. Did you go? How many years of military did you do?
Yeah, I was, let me see. I got out of the military after a year. So I was still, I might have been 20.
Okay, so relatively young. Did you all get any type of counseling being a man of faith? Not at all.
No, we didn't. Not before, not during.
Okay, so do you think that if you would have gotten counseling before, not saying that, because I believe in destiny, I believe that, the new Miss Pope, the only Miss Pope is supposed to be the Miss Pope. We're gonna clear that up right now. However, do you think that the marriage would have lasted longer? Do you think would have been different? Or maybe you would have not even gotten married if you would have went through some type of counseling?
Well, I will say I probably would not have gotten married because I would have found out a lot of things about myself that I didn't know, because I completely blame myself for the first marriage, like completely, because I was unstable, like for real. I was, like I said, my military career was cut short, and I had found my identity in the military career. So, being honorably discharged with a medical discharge, then you coming home and, you're not really welcome, like you think you're supposed to be for a veteran that come home, after serving during an active wartime. You got a lot of things going on in your head. You're trying to find this way, you're trying to find puzzle pieces, and it just wasn't right. So if we had gotten counseling before, I probably would have known that I wasn't ready for that, to wear that type of responsibility. And there is a chance that it probably would have lasted longer because she probably would have gotten, wiser on some other things as well, too, because there was a lot of input that was being brought into the marriage by people that wasn't married. So neither one of us probably was really ready for it.
Okay, cool. So let's move on to this second one.
Right on.
So you waited for 5 years before you did this second one. And so with this one, did you do counseling before?
Nah, man, ain't did no counseling then. Like, okay, and it's a reason for it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because when you say that word counseling, first of all, you know, growing up how I grew up, that's a sign of weakness, is what I thought. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why we need to kill that misconception. You understand what I'm saying? Because, you know, most black men that grew up, you know, the way I grew up, you know, we was always taught to be strong or be tough or hold up some type of image. And you know, again, hurt people hurt people. You understand what I'm saying? And so if you're not getting counseling, if you're not getting to know yourself and you're not getting to know the issues that you really have, like how you gonna take on such a great responsibility as being a husband when you struggling to be a man, first of all. And that's what it was with me. We ain't get no counseling. We just, you know, because we grew up in the same church, you know what I mean? And we both were God fearing. So, you know, we was best friends at one point, you know what I mean? So we just thought we was ready. You know how it is. You know, you hear prophecies or prophet lies or whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna be 100 with it. You understand what I'm saying? It really wasn't, you know what I'm saying, one of those decisions where I knew this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Again, you got to be careful who you allow to pour into you and tell you what you're supposed to be doing, even if they say God told you to do it. Because everybody that say God said, they ain't really had a conversation with God like that. So, you know, it was one of those, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was like a prophecy, prophet lie type of situation.
Well,
You understand
come
what I'm
on here,
saying?
Pastor. You know I'm gonna talk about you wiping that sweat off your forehead with your pastor's rag. Come on here, preacher. So
Yeah, I'm a little hot up here, man. You got me in the hot seat right now. You know, these people watching me. You understand what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it. I love your energy all the time. So here we go. We're now in this marriage. You know, of course, you. How long did you date before you got married? I mean, you said you were best friends before, so you probably
Yeah,
took a chance on the fact being that you all were friends, which most
yeah,
people feel like they should marry their best friends. So how long did
right.
you all kind of decide to? How long did you date and then decide to turn it into a relationship?
Honestly, said I can't even say how long it was. I don't even know how long we dated. Like, everything just seemed to happen like, you know, one thing after another. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I will say, that probably fueled the fact that it happened so fastly is because there was a child in place. You know what I mean? And being a
Okay.
man of faith, growing up, you knowing better. You understand what I'm saying? You try to right the wrongs, even though you're making wrongs and nobody's perfect. Like, I don't care if they in the pulpit. Like, most of the time, those are the people that need the prayer the most because they're held at so high esteem. And then as soon as people find out they ain't perfect, oh, he a false this. No, it ain't that. They human. So, you know what I mean? It's just that type of situation. There was a child, my oldest son was in the play, and I grew up not knowing my biological father, you know what I'm saying? And growing up in a broken home. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna make sure this thing is right. And sometimes we try to force puzzle pieces that, you know, seasons come for different reasons and things like that. But then sometimes we make a lifelong commitment and we don't really take them vows. Like, we hear them, but we don't really take them serious. Like, when they say for better or for worse, sickness and health, death do us part. Like all these things, like, were things that should have been considered and should have been held priority. And it was a whole lot going on, man. It really was.
Okay. So
Why
you
you
in
got
this
look?
marriage?
Why you looking like that? Why you
Because
in it?
I'm
Why you?
enjoying this, man. I'm trying to tell you, I'm enjoying it, and everybody else enjoying it too. You got people laughing and snickering. Because I promise you, like I told you, your energy is
Two
amazing.
Gun Construction. What's up, bro? I see you. I just had to holler at the homie, man. I told my wife I've been thinking about homie for a minute. He done fell off through here. Stop laughing at me too, bro. It ain't funny. It ain't funny. This is serious right now.
So, you know, laughter is good for the soul. Um, so now we're in this marriage, and
Yeah,
there's a child from this marriage, a
yeah,
seed.
right.
So okay, so how long was this marriage?
This one lasted about 4.5 years.
4.5 years. So in
Yep.
this marriage, when did you see or feel that the relationship was going in the opposite direction of where you knew it should be going? Like, how
Well,
far were you in?
listen, first of all, the warning signs was there. Let's be clear here. The warning signs were there, but again, I was focusing on the fact that there was a child in the play, and again, I can't not know how it feels. You know what I'm saying? Not to really 100% know who my father is. So, and being a man of faith, you know, I grew up in the church. Even though everything I did went in the church, I was literally out here in these streets thugging. Let's be clear. While I was going to church, I mean, both worlds was inside of me. You understand
Right.
what I'm saying? So I was out here tripping, you know what I mean, wilding out. But I really did want to honor, you understand what I'm saying, that.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't want to be that absent father. I didn't want to be that guy. So there was a lot of warning signs, you know what I mean, as far as me still not being whole, still being very insecure, still not really being secure in who I am. And that's on both sides. But again, I dare not, you know, speak about a person that's not here to defend themselves. And out of respect for my children's mother, I will not dare, you know, say anything negative about her. But we both had some growing to do, and we both should have done a lot more working on ourselves than we did.
I commend you on that too, because there's so many people, and I have to say that about everybody who's been on here. Nobody has like ridiculed or badmouthed their ex-spouses, probably with the exception of me, but it's my show and I do it.
Right on.
And I feel like my story is totally different than anybody else's. But anyway, however, Kyle,
right.
I commend you on that, because we're going to talk about the kids later. However, I just really feel like when people are going through these processes, when kids are involved, because of selfishness, because of, for lack of better word, stupidity, because, you know, we have stupid moments, it's all about self and not about realizing that what you're doing is, while you're breaking up this home, because it's probably in the long run better for everybody, because you don't want the kids to be in a negative environment. You don't want them to see what, you know, fake love looks like, or being unloved in a negative space. But when you were going through the process, a lot of people fail to communicate with their children and sit down and have those hard conversations with the children while going through it. So the children end up suffering and not understanding. I'll share briefly, and then I'm gonna get back to you. The young lady who was on,
take your time. You ain't got to rush to get back to me. Take your time.
you know, I'm about to catch a flight. I got to rush. No, I'm just kidding. So no, but I'm not gonna rush you, because, like I said, this is good. It was a young lady on night before last, I believe it was, and we were talking about, you know, once she was in an abusive relationship, and she allowed herself to be in a relationship for 24 years, but she said that she did not know, because her older children had kind of been abused as well. And now, you know, we talk about curses and we talk about being people of faith. We talk about generational curses when we try to say we're doing something better. Even if we're trying to do something better, sometimes leaving might be the best reason, because you never know what negative outcomes are going to hit. So now she's sitting here as a mother who has two grown children who feel like they don't need counseling. One child, which really blew me, and it took me a while to like let it process. And you know, sometimes we show our emotions or our face on our expressions on our face. And I sat there kind of stunned, trying to keep my face, because I couldn't believe it, but it happens because it's a part of life. But I don't know if you were on this particular night, but the young lady said that she, her oldest child was now a transgender woman. However, this child was once a man, had actually married a female. The female ended up being abused, and now this person is out of it and decides they want to be a female, which to me, I feel like we'll never know if these decisions, from him coming from a broken home, dealing with abuse from his father, coming from a broken marriage, marrying somebody else who ended up being abusive to them, a female being abusive to her husband, and he divorcing her for that reason, and now he feels that he should be a female anyway. We'll never know if all of this played a part in where he is now. You know what I'm saying? And he never wanted counseling. The other daughter doesn't want counseling, and now she's in relationships that the mother is like, she's trying to be supportive and things of that nature too. So you kind of wonder, you know, really when we talk about the children and all of this, you know, what are we doing to make sure they're okay? And a lot of people, like I said, forget, because they get to their partner, it's a shouting match, it's a power pull, a power struggle, and things like that. So anywho, I'm gonna get back to these children in a minute, but going back to this here marriage, that's what's sad, but I had thrown it because that's the first thing I thought about when we talking about kids and stuff. So this marriage lasts about 4 or 5 years, and you admitted that there was, you know, roles playing on both parts. So who was the one who actually filed for divorce?
I filed for divorce.
Do you feel like you did everything possible before you decided to file for divorce to make this marriage work?
I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to stand behind that, because during the time we were having our issues, I mean, I was, again, I'm a man of faith. She was a woman of faith. We grew up in church together, the whole nine. So, you know what I mean, prayer was definitely a part of my everyday life. You know what I mean? It ain't just, I'm just going to wait till Sunday or Bible study, whenever. Like, nah, I do this for real. So every day, you know, prayer was active. And not only that, when I started noticing the things, my own issues. Because certain things you see that happened back when, then you start realizing it's happening again. And you're like, whoa, I am tripping. So, you seek out help. And I sought out help, counseling. But it's hard when you're the only one that's really seeking help. And it's also hard too when now I don't know if it's 100% true, but from what was told to me, one particular person that I was getting help from, he was a man of the cloth. He was actually an apostle. And I was confiding in him like, bro, look, I'm going through these things. I need help. You know what I mean? I'm seeing you and your wife, your marriage, your thing. You got to go, you got it together. Look, this is some of the stuff that I'm dealing with, whatever. And again, I don't know if he actually said these things, but it actually broke my heart because I held him in a high esteem. But it came back to me as though, he was telling her, you know what I mean? Didn't I tell you to leave him? People like that don't change, things like that. And it's like, my man, like, first of all, you operating in the highest office in the church, the apostolic office, like, you got this anointing. If I got some issues or some spirits, and get them out, like, cast them out. Like, you in here preaching and hooping and hollering, like,
not even, excuse me for not even that, Demont, but when we talk about confidentiality, I mean, when you talk to an apostle or even your pastor, that's almost like lawyer-client privilege. Unless, of course, you gave him permission, like if you all were going to counseling together, or, even if it was together sometime and then separate sessions to try to see if I come to happy medium. The only way he should have disclosed any of your conversation with your spouse at the time was if he okayed it with you. If he did not okay with you, that's the biggest form of betrayal. So I could get where you not only mad because just let's be real, you a man's man. So I can understand you being pissed off and want to throw hands. Let's just be real.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, it's got to be disappointing because if I'm looking up to you as a spiritual father, and I don't necessarily believe in spiritual parents, but let's say a spiritual covering, you looking at as a spiritual covering, and you and I look up to you, and I came to you out of hurt, out of disappointment, out of rejection, out of trying to make stuff right, out of just in a desperate need of trying to fix my marriage, and I come to you being open, transparent, showing you my vulnerability, and then you take what I tell you and you go back and run to the person that I'm having the issue with. You didn't call us together to talk about this. You actually went back, and then not only did you go back and tell her what I said, you went back and bashed me to her. So how can you be in my face? I love you, son, let's get it together. But you go back to her and say, that ninja ain't no good. I told you not to be bothered with him. That's so disrespectful. Look, where he at?
Yeah. See, the question is, I don't even know, man. And this the thing, like, and let's be clear, like, you hit the nail right on the head, because I am the type of person, that's why I have to make sure I'm always conscious and aware of me, because I am the type of cat, like you rub me the wrong way, I'm ready to throw them hands. And, I know for a fact my man wasn't finna say what he said in front of me, as most people not gonna do that. You know what I mean? But it was just hurtful because I really was trying to get help. And I could see if both of us was equally seeking help, but it's like, I'm the one trying to get the help. And then it's hard to do that when people are validating your behavior, and your behavior is bad behavior, but you're not willing to do anything about your behavior because nobody is really focusing in on you, telling you that your behavior is bad. Like, you need to change up too. Everybody is always quick to say, oh, that man doing this, or oh, he doing that, oh, he said this, and they all went ready to put on the cape and put on the Captain Kirk and try to save. But you know what I mean? In essence, you're supposed to find out the truth, and you're supposed to find the root cause, and you're supposed to deal with that for the better good, so that a family don't be destroyed. But instead, you know what I mean? Now I got to argue. Now I'm arguing with you, and now I got to convince you, once you done been told by somebody who you also, look to now. In your mind, you can continue doing everything you're doing. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like, it was a tug of war type of situation. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you, you need to tell me what dude is. He want all this smoke. I'm mad. I know it's over with. I know you done moved on and you happy now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that's just this. And I think it's disrespectful to me because, I don't talk about it much because, I have this thing about the four walls of the church, and I have this thing about religion. I have a real problem with religion. I'm okay with relationship with God. I'm okay with people, being spiritual, to the fact being that they're connected to their higher power. But when we talk about these religions and these people who take these titles and they abuse their authority, I promise you, it's like
Yeah.
it's worse than nails on a chalkboard, the thorn in my side,
Yeah.
the rip in my butthole, all that stuff. And I'm just being real. I'm just saying,
Right.
I'm for
It's a
real. I
problem.
get
I got
angry
you.
because I've seen so many people in my time of serving in ministry, because I'm a servant at heart. And I don't get behind the pulling pit, but I've worked alongside people in ministry where I've served them in the form of an armor bearer. So I do understand. I understand the warfare that comes with that position. And then when I serve people and I see the people that the places that we go speak in, and my discernment kicks in immediately, I could tell when you a joker. And when I say, like, for real, I sit there and I have to like really pray and ask God to help me get through the service, because what I want to do is be that ignorant person that get up and be like, you a liar, you a liar, you a liar. you can't
Right
do that.
on.
So
Right.
like, yeah, you just sent me to a whole nother place. Okay, so that's another story for another day. I'm right there.
Yeah.
Come on
But it's
back.
real though. It's real, and that's the thing, because not just me, but imagine like how many other men. Because let's deal with it. Like this is a real issue. You understand what I'm saying? And it's already not so many of us black men already that are secure in ourselves, and we know, and sometimes we think just because we are a grown man, we just know all the answers. And my uncle broke it down to me and it made sense. AGE does not spell MAN. Like, just because you of a certain age don't mean you know the answers to every question. And when you actively seeking, you understand what I'm saying? And then you being met with a level of betrayal on one part, then you being met with betrayal inside the house, then you got infidelity going on, and like it was a lot going on. And even in all of that, you still trying to be a man of faith, and you trying to deal with being forgiven, and you trying to deal with that, but you really being chumped off. You really being drugged, like you really being pumped. You understand what I'm saying? In
Oh
your
my
own
goodness.
house. And it's like, what do? You know what I mean? So all type of emotions stir up, anger and frustration. And then all of a sudden, boom, you on a level where now you done lost control of yourself. You done lost sight of yourself, but still nobody is looking at the issue. Nobody is really trying to get to the problem. Everybody is still too busy blaming, pointing fingers at the same person that's trying to get the help. You understand what I'm saying? So it ain't nothing to play with. It's for real.
So, and I guess I'm just kind of angry because you made a good point, and you said you probably, I could almost bet my last dollar on it, not the only man that he's done this to. And then it makes you wonder, like, for real, what's your agenda for tearing down the black man? Especially me. Right. It's hard enough to get black men to come to church. Right. It's hard enough to get black men of faith to come and actually participate, where we see all these women are dominating inside the four walls of the church. And then you sit here and you take your position of power and you distort it and you abuse it because you feel like you can.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna get out because I could talk about this all night. Okay, so let's go back. So now you filed for divorce, and you're moving on. How many children were produced from the second marriage?
4 total. One passed away as a baby. We lost our second son. But we'll move on because that's still an emotional situation for me. You understand what I'm saying? So, but we still have 3 children together. Yeah.
And how old were the children when you separated and divorced?
When we separated and divorced, my youngest son, well, he's my middle son now, but he was only 1. Like, it was literally right after, like a month after he turned 1. My daughter was about 4. And my son, I believe he was like 5, getting ready to turn 6. So they were all still very young, very, very, very tender. You understand what I'm saying? And did not deserve anything that was going on in the marriage. And they definitely didn't deserve, what happened after the separation and stuff like that.
Okay, you're right, Andrew. That's a whole nother episode. I'm probably gonna do that one too. I gotta pick a month to talk about the church. Anywho, so woo, okay, I'm still on fire. Okay, so your children were very young and, as you said, tender. And I'm so sorry I did not know you had a child that you had lost. In my prayers. I know I don't know what it's like to have children. I know it's like to want to have children and not have children. So, but my prayers are definitely with you. My heart goes out to you. So, they were young, and I know when kids are that age, they may not necessarily understand divorce. They just understand that now their daddy's not there anymore. Because did she become the custodial parent?
Yes.
Okay, so she's the
And
custodial parent, so that means that now you got to try to work out visitation in between
that's
all the
another
mess and
animal.
the garbage, and I could already see your facial expression and the way you were talking about
Man.
everything going on. You know that whole once a month, twice a month, every other weekend probably was
Man, listen.
hell every time you tried to make something happen. So and that goes back to me talking about the kids suffering because of the parents not
Yeah.
saying, and I'm not saying you, I'm quite sure you had your fault, you played in it, whatever have you,
Oh,
but
I
just
definitely did.
because you all couldn't come to understanding, so the kids wouldn't be hurt in the process. So my question would be, have you gotten your children any counseling when they became of age, like maybe start acting out, and particularly, did you get your children any counseling?
Well, yeah. My children, they definitely gotten some counseling, and it's gonna continue. Because she and I, we share joint legal custody. And I wish I had known at the time that there was a such thing called joint physical custody as well. Because I definitely would have pushed for that. But we have joint legal custody, but it's still a struggle. Because when somebody see the word primary on the paperwork, they seem to think that makes them in charge for some reason. And it's just, that's a whole nother fight in itself. But when we have joint legal custody and you're still not being able to exercise the legal rights and authorities that you should have as a father, and for me, that's absolutely tough, and it's a big problem for me because, again, I cannot forget that I know exactly how it feels to not have a father. And once regardless if I wasn't a good husband to you or you wasn't a good wife to me, regardless of the situation is, you know what I mean? Once you know where I'm at with my kids, you know the reason and you know the heart that I have, the love that I have and things like that. And you use that because you know that, okay, I can't hurt him this way because he gonna do whatever. And you still try to play chess with that, and you use those kids as a means to where you can get them. When I'm like, yo, I don't care who you are, I don't care whether you are a great father, bad father, I don't care who you are. Every other weekend, which is twice a month, 4 days, right, a month out of a 365-day year, which adds up to 48 days out of 365. That's not fair. That's not just. That ain't joint. That ain't legal. That should be illegal. You understand what I'm saying? And then once you have a father that's actively fighting to be in their kids' lives, when you got so many real deadbeats out here, but yet and still you paint the picture of a person that's, you want everybody to see you as if you're doing it by yourself. And the fact is that, you are a great mother. You understand what I'm saying? I take nothing away from that. But the fact that you try to cover the fact that there is an active, loving, and present father in these kids' life, just as you are. Like, I don't know if you do it for the attention, or if you do, I don't know why you do it. But when you try to limit somebody to 48 days, first of all, I got a problem with the court and the judicial system for that, because they should know, like, if I don't pay that child support, you done suspended license before when I ain't even had no job and I was homeless, and you done suspended my license trying to lock me up, right? But you're not enforcing the fact that just like a child needs their mother regularly and daily, they need their father regularly and daily as well. Like, money don't raise kids. You understand what I'm saying?
Preach.
Fathers, parents raise kids. So regardless of whether or not I got a dime in my pocket, like I told the court, I'm still a father. You understand? Until the day that I die, I'm my kid's father. So I don't care what amount you asking for in child support. I don't care what hoops I got to jump through. I don't care what I got to go through to provide for these kids financially. You will not limit me to a specified amount of time to spend with children that you had nothing to do with bringing into this world. And that's the struggle that I deal with, because it's like, okay, and then you say, well, you can get them every weekend, but then when I hit you up, like, oh, let me pick the kids up, won't do it. Well, I got something scheduled. And then eventually it's like, man, I'm not even going to ask you no more, because I think you're really getting a rise out of being able to tell me no, because you still feel as though you're in control. But what do you do when you got your kids, because of the separation and the divorce, they're acting out? You got teachers calling your phone every day. You at work, you got a teacher blowing you up. So now you showing up at the school. You show up at the school, they got you in the office because somebody done told them to let them know when you show up at the school. And now the school is talking about, oh, well, you got to meet with the assistant principal and the counselor right quick. And then you sitting in the office with them and they talking about some, well, we're not going to be doing no checking out. First of all, player, hold up. You don't know me like you think you know me, first of all. And secondly, I'm not here to take no child out of school. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm here to deal with an issue with my child misbehaving in class. And who gave you the right or the authority to call yourself a mediator or a middleman? And it's just, listen, man, this thing here, look, man, people really don't understand what fathers go through. You understand what I'm saying? We go through it.
I'm gonna bring
Anyway,
I'm gonna bring you a session back for fathers too. But I can see right now, this is one of when I was gonna ask you what pretty much triggers you negatively from your divorce. I definitely know that this will definitely be a trigger. Like this right here is definitely a trigger. And and my heart goes, and I have a problem. And people will say that, you know, sometimes I'm wrong, but I really dislike petty mothers. I really do. I mean, like I said, I don't have any children. The Lord decided, you know, that was not my measure and my portion. So it's something that I've struggled with. However, when I see other stories, I come from, you know, a household where my father was absent but present at the same time, meaning that he was here in the house, but because he's real old school, that whole I love you, I show you I love you because I'm in the house and I'm paying the bills and I got a roof over your head and all that other stuff. So it's a different type of fatherhood for me. However, he was here. And when I see other people, other friends of mine that I know they're good people, again, how you feel about me as a person and our relationship has nothing to do with how you treat your kids. Now, if you was telling me that the person, if this person came back and told me, like, say for instance, I had another conversation with her, she told me that you were abusive towards the children.
right.
If you were
that's a different
neglected
story.
them, that's a whole different story.
Absolutely.
But if you see that the man is trying to be present, if you see or doing the best he can to be present, I hate the word try. If he's doing the best he can to be present, if he is there, whether, like you said, whether he got a job or not, money don't raise kids. But if I'm spending or attempting to spend time with the kids, if I'm attempting to talk to them and have conversation with them and raise them and be a part of their lives and give them positive influence, what is it killing you? What you mad about? You should be happy, because there's so many people, like you said, out here who wish that they had a man to come and even want to spend time with their kids. They can't find nobody to spend time with their kids. But the thing being that you're trying to jump through hoops and go above and beyond because you genuinely love your kids and you want a positive role model for your kids, it speaks volumes. So I commend you wholeheartedly. And my prayer now will definitely be geared towards that, because it's just, okay. So let's move on to a little happier time. So now we're divorced. And we working through the kids. So now I believe is it safe to say that after this marriage, you decided to work on Demont?
Yeah. I had to work on me. But first I started wilding some more because I'm like, look, man, I'm not doing this again. You understand what I'm saying? And then I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I ain't got nobody, so I feel like I can have everybody. And then I realized that my heart was just too big and I couldn't really do the player thing. I really couldn't do that because I don't really have a heart to play with people and do people any kind of way. So the lying and trying to have 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways. Listen, man, first of all, my bank account ain't that big. When you got child support and you got, you know, issues and women is expensive. You understand what I'm saying? So let's be clear. Like I couldn't afford 2, 3, 4, 5 girlfriends. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, I realized I got to do something because, again, that ain't what I wanted to show my sons. You feel what I'm saying? That's not what I wanted to show. Yeah, I just seen the homie, you know what I'm saying? Most talks just jumped on this thing. What's happening, bro? But anyway, you know, that ain't what I want to show my sons. You know what I mean? That ain't what I want to show my daughter. You understand what I'm saying? Because again, I didn't separate from their mother because I didn't want to be their father or because I was running from the relationship. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of people think. They think when men separate or when people separate, they think they running from the responsibility. Ain't nobody ran from no responsibility. What you did was you made a wise decision to realize that this situation is toxic. And the more you try to force the situation, the worse it's becoming, not just for the two of you grown people, but these 3 babies that was watching all of this and hearing this and witnessing this. What was that doing to them? So I had to make a conscious decision. And then when I parted ways and then dealing with the fact that I still got to struggle to be in their presence, I'm like, look, I got to figure out, first of all, what is it in me? And then I had to go back to my own childhood and how I grew up. and how my father was alcoholic, right? And how my father was abusive to my mama, right? And then how my father turned around and after he went to prison, he abandoned us. And then the last words he said to me personally about my twin sister who also passed away, right? You told me that even though me and Debrina wasn't yours, you loved us like we were. So now I don't even know who my real father is. And now I'm out here, I'm separated, going through a ugly divorce. I'm homeless at the time. I'm living in my truck. I'm sleeping in the park. I'm living in hotel rooms. I'm in rooming houses, and I'm going through the whole struggle. But I still never missed the weekend where it was my time to get my kids. I'm literally living in a recording studio at the time when I did get my foot under myself so that I can, you know, try to establish some type of income. I couldn't afford to pay rent and keep a studio. So now I'm living in the studio, right? Nobody knows it, but I got one bathroom that stay locked because that's my personal bathroom. And in my office, I never held consultations in my office because there's a sofa and a blow-up mattress in there. Because when I get my kids, that's where they sleeping at, on the blow-up mattress. I'm sleeping on the sofa, and then we bathing because we in the bathroom bathing in the sink. My kids are literally standing in the little gray tub, the little gray container that comes from the hospital. They literally standing in that with a little bit of water in it, and I'm running water in the sink, and I'm bathing my babies, and we at Little Caesar, right, with the $5 holler, because that's all I can afford. Like, that was our meal every time I picked my kids up, right? And then if it wasn't that, we was eating the ramen noodles, the noodles in the cup, because I ain't had no bowls. You see what I'm saying? So we got the cup, put the water in there, put it in the microwave, and we surviving. Meanwhile, I'm trying to save, and I'm trying to keep myself together because I don't want nobody to know what I'm going through, because I'm afraid that if she finds out that I'm homeless, then guess what? I will never see my kids again.
Woo,
so I have
Jesus.
to do whatever I have to do, because at this point, it ain't about me. I will not give up on these children. They will not know what it feels like to not know their father. They will not know what it feels like to not be able to see their father. So I don't care if it's the judge. I don't care if it's the police. I don't care who it is I got to go through. I'm 9 times out of 10 with the motivation I got, I'm probably going to knock you out my way. You understand what I'm saying? Because I will not be kept away from my children. You understand what I'm saying? So
yes, sir.
I was the one that was keeping me away from my children, because regardless, I still was unhealthy, right? I was basically fading away. I remember one of my aunts, she offended me so bad, and I didn't realize it, right? Because she told my cousin one time, yeah, he looked like death. Wait, man, auntie, how you gonna say that? But then I go back and I look at pictures, and I really did. I was skin and bones because I wasn't eating. I ain't had no food to eat. You understand what I'm saying? I was out here trying to, you know how they say, fake it till you make it? Like, I was literally faking it. And sometimes we'll pull up at my mom's house. I can't tell my mom that I'm going through a situation. So we say, hey, man, Mom, I brought the kids for you to see them. You know, we gonna spend the night with you. You know, we gonna crash in your living room on your sofa. I know you got a 1-bedroom apartment, but I can't tell you that your grandbabies ain't got nowhere to stay because your baby boy ain't got nowhere to stay. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to really figure out, you know what I mean, going through counseling. I ended up in anger management, and it was court ordered, but it's probably the best order that I ever got, because it showed me that I really was struggling and that I really was holding on to something from my childhood, right? The rejection, the abandonment, the pain. And then when you got somebody standing up in your presence and they talking to you recklessly, and, you know, they throwing hands with you because they know you ain't gonna do nothing back. And then one day you make the fatal mistake, and then you like, I'm not going for this one time. If I just one time show you that I ain't the one, and then boom, next thing you know, now you done started something. Now you done unlocked something that was a beast that was trying to get out the whole time. Now what do you do when you looking at yourself in the mirror and you the person that you hated growing up? What do you do when you staring at yourself in the mirror saying that I'm not this guy, I'm not this person, but yet you're still doing the things that this person does, regardless of how you're getting provoked, regardless of what the other person is doing? When a man is not insecure of himself, and when you done been beat down and belittled so much and disrespected so much, the only thing you can do is think of whatever you can say to try to make this person feel the same hurt that you feeling, and then you try to do whatever you can to try to gain what little bit of respect you can. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I went through it. And then I had to realize it's not until I get me fixed. I have to get rid of those pains and those hurts from my childhood. I had to embrace what I was and the mistakes that I was really making, and let it be known, like, this ain't okay. I'm not okay with this. And that's what people didn't understand. People didn't understand it. Just because you misbehaving and just because you in a bad situation, they don't understand the struggle that you're going through trying to climb out of a pit that somebody keep throwing dirt on you. Every time you put the dirt underneath your feet to climb out the hole, they study putting dirt on your name. They study manipulating. They study pulling triggers because, and then they throwing rocks in the dark. And soon as you explode, they like, look what he doing. But you're not telling everybody what you're doing. And then you sitting here as a man and you're suicidal, like you drive to a parking lot one night and you put a loaded 9mm to your head because you're like, I will not become this man. I will not be my father. I hate him for this, for what he did to my mother. But what do you do when you're the one doing that to your children's mother? And no matter how you try to make it seem like it's not your fault, regardless of what they say or what they do to you, you cannot control your own actions. You can't control your behavior. You have a problem and you can't deal with the problem because the people in the church is telling the same person that it's you with the problem. So now I can't go to church to get no help. I can't go to the counselors because I can't afford it. I can't go to your mama because I done talked to them about the struggles and everybody seems to think it's okay. Well, look, I tell you what, I'm going to take matters in my own hand and I'm just going to go on and end my own life right here, right now.
Jesus.
But then you got a God that loves you so much because he don't look at what you're doing. He look at your heart. And then all of a sudden you sitting in a Kroger parking lot in front of an abandoned building. And for some strange reason, out of nowhere, cars just keep popping up, leaving their headlights shining in your face. And you ain't got the heart to pull the trigger while somebody looking at you. And then all of a sudden it happens so much till you lose the courage to even pull the trigger. And then you look up and you're still alive today. And everything that was meant to break you and everything that was meant to humiliate you, you leave a situation and 2 weeks later, you got a whole nother man living in my house. And then I got to hear this from my 4-year-old and my 5-year-old kids. Hey, daddy, they such and such, I'm not going to mention his name, but he's sleeping in your bed and, you know, they taking showers together. First of all, why is my baby seeing this? And then you have no control over it. And there's nothing you can do because although it was the best decision, you had to make a decision to walk out of that situation. And now you can't control what your babies are being exposed to. And then you find out that there's a possibility that they still may be being exposed to the very thing you tried to protect them from. But then it also goes to the point to prove that it wasn't all you. You understand what I'm saying? But we got people are not courageous enough and bold enough to sit here and be 100% honest. Like, what do you do when you become the man that you hate? Like, what do you do when you lose control of yourself? What do you do when you're literally being abused as a man? Like you trying to walk out the door and somebody running up to you, kicking their shoes off, talking about this ain't what you want, and it's a woman? Like, what are you supposed to do? Because if you keep walking away, every chance she gets, she gonna try to punk you. But then what happens when that God inside of you checks you and lets you know, I don't care what this person is doing, you wrong. And then you got to make that decision to where, listen, if we ain't going to go counseling together, if we're not going to fix this together, then unfortunately I have to do the most painful thing, one of the most painful things I've ever had to do in my life, which was walk out of that door. And then I found out 2 weeks after I walked out the door, there's somebody else in the door, which means that this ain't just happened. And now I'm understanding why the level of disrespect. Now I'm understanding why you wasn't trying to make it work because your heart was never there. You understand what I'm saying? But people don't want to hear the truth. People just everybody want to put their cape on, like I said, and Captain save somebody. But what if it's actually the man this time that really needed the support? What if it's the man that actually needed the help, right? Like, what if it was, like, just what if? You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, again, like this struck a nerve, as you can see, because I can't play with this. It's passionate to me because I sat in court one day and I watched not just me, but I watched 17 other men lose custody of their children. And every time we got ready to communicate what our kids meant to us and how much we loved our kids, the judge quickly shut us off and said, this ain't what we're here to discuss. But every time that woman got ready to cry and say, woe is me, and this is what I'm going through, he's like, what else do you need? Anything else you want to say? And it's like, yo, we don't have a voice. Like, we really don't have a voice. And it's a struggle, sis, it really is. And somebody needs to know that this is really going on. Like, this ain't no game to me. I ain't playing with this. For real.
Wow. So I'm sitting over here trying to hold my peace, and my spirit is leaping. My heart goes out to you. I really tried to like get on the happier note of the latest Mrs. Pope, but it triggered you back to other things.
We don't get there though, but
and it's
we gotta,
okay.
Somebody gotta be helped.
It's
somebody
okay.
gotta know
you know,
that
you
they can overcome this too.
whether somebody is going to ever admit it or not, whether this gets seen today, tomorrow, next week, 5 years from now, it's going to help somebody unless somebody snatch down my video, which my prayer is, of course, they do not. So, I mean, I appreciate you. I appreciate your transparency. I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your passion. For those of you who are just joining us, thank you for joining the live. Thank you for watching the replay. If you all did not know, we were talking about all things divorce, and Mr. Pope was sharing with us how he's been married twice, and we're talking about the second marriage, which was the longer marriage of the two where he separated and divorced from that. And it's because there were children involved that he's very triggered, and that's what we're talking about. This whole thing was talking about traumas and triggers of divorce. And whereas women may be triggered by the fact being that a man may have cheated, may have abused them, may have walked away, we're sitting here talking with a young man who born and raised in the church, man of faith, doing the best he can to make things good and want to take care of his kids. And it just seems like he's getting blocked on every hand, and it still can be challenging even to this day, even though he's moved on. And like I was saying, we were going to get to the new Miss Pope and talk about how after
let's
you
get
got
down.
help, look, he's smiling now. Look at him, he's smiling. Look, Nikki, he's smiling, girl. He's smiling, Nikki. Woo, I'm glad she make your heart jump. Praise God. So you got help now, because that's where we started from. I asked you, did you get help? So you went for counseling, even in the midst of your homelessness, even in the midst of you trying to be in trigger with your kids. So first tell me, how did you meet Nikki?
Man, listen, we gonna have to go way back, man, because believe it or not, you see my brother on here too. Like, that's my real brother, like same mama, you know what I'm saying, same daddy type situation. You saying POPE, like, so check this out. Me and my brother, when we was in middle school. I was in 6th grade and he was in 7th. So me and him used to walk Nikki and one of her best friends home from school every day. So me and Nikki was best friends, like in
grammar
like,
school.
Yeah, like getting in trouble. Like, we used to be in the back of the class eating candy and eating the sweet Kool-Aid right out the pack. Like, we go back like that. You understand what I'm saying? And then, you know, because of the financial struggles, you know, that my mama had to go through, you know, we had to move around a lot. So we ended up moving, you know what I mean, one day, not even knowing. Me and my brother, we didn't even know. We just showed up. There's a moving truck in the yard. We gone, you know what I mean? And it went like maybe 20 years went by. And this was after the separation, and I was still going through the divorce at this time, and still going through here. Like, I'm out there, I think it was like maybe 2 in the morning. I'm at the Waffle House one time. I'm gonna put the business out there, but I'm at the Waffle House over there in Riverdale in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting in the chair because I ain't got nowhere to go, really. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I got a roommate, but you know, when you a grown man and you used to having your own and taking care of your family, like, I don't want to be in no another person's house, man. I don't feel comfortable. So I'm just gonna come in when it's time for me to go to sleep and get up, and I go to work, do what I gotta do. I'm in the Waffle House. Don't know why I'm in the Waffle House this late. I'm done eating. I'm just drinking coffee. Why am I drinking coffee at 2 in the morning? I don't know. I still love coffee to this day, so don't get it twisted. I'll get me a cup any minute. But we sitting in there, and I look up, and she walk in there with a few of her friends. I don't even know where they was coming from. I ain't gonna put her business out there like that. I don't know where they was coming from. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? I look up, and it's crazy because, like, you don't know why, like, years went by, and I would always think about it. Like, I wonder what, you know, such and such is doing. Like, it would just be a quick thought, and I'm back going to what I'm doing. You understand what I'm saying? And then I see this person, and it's been 20 years, and I'm broken, so I'm going through what I'm going through. So I sure enough ain't trying to be in no relationship or nothing like that. You get where I'm coming from? So, but then, you know, I'm still a man with pride. So, you know, she look up, and I notice she see me, and, you know, I sit back, and I'm like, yeah, it's me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's right. You know what I'm talking about? And she actually started working at the recording studio. She was actually an executive assistant for me at the time at the recording studio. So she, even then, you know, she started keeping me organized, because, like, I had about 20-something artists, and, you know, we was all over the place doing shows, any and everywhere that would, you know, give us a stage. So she would kind of, you know, keep me organized, make sure I don't miss no appointments and stuff like that. And you know, that's how we reconnected. But we met each other way back in 6th grade.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
So now she working for you. She all in your business, taking care of your business, and manding the business that paid you and her. So when did it change for you? When did you, because the Bible does say he that findeth the wife, and I'm sure that, you know, Nikki was around there looking cute and she was dressed
Yeah.
all nice, and
Yeah. And
even when she
I used to be
dressed,
on
even
her, sis.
look, even when she was dressed in gym shoes and sweatpants, she was still looking nice, and she
You know what I'm
caught your
saying?
eye. So,
And I'm like, look, man, you can't be coming to this studio dressed like that, man. I got these artists, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was in my feelings on the low, but I still didn't really, you know, I wasn't really locked in. I wasn't really paying attention. I just, you know, I'm like, man, it's my own, hey, man, it's my own girl, man. You don't be looking at her, you know what I'm saying? But on the inside, it's something else. Like, bro, you know, check your eyes right quick. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, it was a whole thing. Like, she'll know. I used to tell, hey, look, you can't wear that. You got to dress a certain kind of way. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, I don't know. It was just happening organically without me knowing, because I definitely wasn't looking for that. And she abandoned your boy too. You know what I mean? She dipped on your boy. You know, go leave, go to college and stuff, and go finish a degree and go better herself. You know what I'm saying? She gonna go make some power moves. You know what I mean? To make herself better. You know what I'm saying? And I was in my feelings a little bit. You know what I mean? Because it was what it was. But you
when
know,
did you approach her? When did you approach her and told her, like, you know, like, look, let me just tell you something. You know, you just it for me. You the one.
I had got an invitation, man, to go to a concert. And so you gotta be careful when you take these invitations. Like, you know what I mean? She gonna send me a text. So we just friends, right? So I'm at the lake with a couple of my homies at the time. You know what I mean? We chopping it up. I'm like, man, Nikki just sent me a text. I'm not going to a concert. And they was like, you know, my producer at the time, he was like, bro, you should go. And then my best friend, he's like, yeah, bro, you ain't got nothing else to do. You know what I'm saying? You might as well go. So I'm like, all right. And this just so happened to be my favorite, you know, singing group at the concert. Then find out it was her favorite singing group. First of all, you can't be inviting no man to no Boys to Men concert and then just think it's gonna be okay. So, you know, I went to the Boys to Men concert, and you know, I'm gonna just say that pretty much was that, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? On the way there, let me see. I met her oldest brother first. And I was like, okay, all right, met the oldest brother. And then I remember when we had the conversation, and it really wouldn't, because at this time I done worked on me. I done got myself together. I know where I'm supposed to be at. And then it's crazy because she already had an incredible relationship with my kids from when she used to work with me at the recording studio. Because everywhere I was at, they was there. Like, they even got a song with me. So they was on stage rapping and going on with your boy. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, we had a conversation, and when God filled my mouth with words and I began saying what God had put on my heart, like, it turned into a proposal. Like it ain't no, yeah, it was just like real. And it's like, you know, yeah, it was crazy, man. I don't know what was wrong with your boy, man. You know what I mean? I don't know,
right,
but God did it.
Look, Nikki, the nerve of you to go to college and do something better to make yourself better. You got some nerve, woman.
What's wrong with you?
How dare you?
Yeah, going getting master's degrees
and then
bachelor's
come back,
and all that. Like, you had one degree. Why you need another one?
And then come back all fine and invite the man to a Boys to Men. I see your strategy, sis. I see your strategy, and it worked.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
now,
it worked. Changed all our life.
Now you proposed, and you all started talking about marriage and stuff. Did you and Miss Pope, the now Mrs. Pope, did you all receive counseling?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We got counseling. You know what I'm saying? We refrained from extracurricular activity. Like, we did it right. Like, we did it right. Yeah, with no game, with no plan, because I wasn't gonna fail again. And hurt people, and I was not gonna hurt this one. You understand what I'm saying? And I had to become somebody different before I attracted this person. Before that attraction even manifested itself, I still had to work on me. Like, I didn't even know, like, the attraction couldn't manifest itself until I had worked on me. Excuse me. So, you know, it was when that was done. So, you know, we did the counseling thing. We refrained. Yeah, we did it right. And it paid off.
Awesome. That is amazing. I'm so glad to hear that. Congratulations to you too. So from the time God worded your mouth for the proposal through the counseling, and how long did you all actually, I guess you can call it date, because y'all had been low-key dating and didn't realize y'all was low-key dating.
Didn't even realize it. We didn't even know it. Way back in middle school, we dated, we booed up, don't
eating
even know
the Kool-Aid.
it. Like, we eating Kool-Aid. We on a date in the classroom with the Kool-Aid. Like, what was that? Walking you home, like, what was that? What, we were the protectors? Like, what was that? You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even fight back then. Like, what gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? So, You know what I'm saying? I want to say it wasn't even a whole year. You know what I'm saying? It was close to a year, but not really a full year. I know, you know, it was like from 2016 to about 2017. And that's when we got married in 2017.
Okay, so are you, well, I'm asking Nikki, so you're going to have to be okay. Are you Nikki's first husband?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So one and done for Nikki. We know that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I ain't going nowhere. If she try to go somewhere, I'm going with her. She might well pack 2 bags because I'm in the back seat. I'm in the trunk. I don't care. I'm going. You know what I'm saying?
Whether you want me to go or not, you stuck.
Right, I'm going.
You stuck like Chuck.
Right. Yeah, we in this for real. We in it.
When I met you all, because I had never seen Nikki on the in our group thing. I had never paid attention or seen her anytime through there. And that might just mean I've been, you know, half sleep on a Sunday morning, not really paying attention. She might have been on there one of them days and not, you know. But when I met you all in person, another reason why I'm so glad that you're doing this is because, again, it proves to me when I'm trying to help others that, you know, no matter how you feel that you're a failure, no matter how many times you think you mess up, if it's in God's will for you to actually have that person that's going to support you, be with you, that whole death to you part, all of that stuff, it can happen, but you have to, one, be willing to get the help you need for yourself, whether it be spiritually or naturally, or both. Have to be open to receive correction, have those difficult conversations with yourself, and with the other parties, and realize that just because you divorced, that did not define you. And right. So I'm like, so when I met you both in person and you introduced me to her, the chemistry was undeniable. The fact being that when you talk about her, when you introduced me to her, and she embraced me. I mean, the smile, the genuine smile, the genuine love, the way she served you there while you were serving Jeremy. I mean, it was amazing. And I think that's why I said what I said, because I said, when this blow up for you, bruh, and you start traveling the world, and Nikki get tired and she gotta do Tracy, y'all gonna need a team. I just wanna be the armor bearer to the armor bearer. That's all I'm asking. You know, I'm just claiming my space. So
you did say
that. now that we're on this side, and you know life is good, and you're doing your best to still co-parent with your second wife. And how many kids do you and Nikki have total?
2.
Mm-hmm. So you're doing your best to raise your 2 and your 3 with your former wife. And I'm sure, like you said, Nikki's been a part of their lives since they were little. So they loved her before you even before you even knew that she was gonna be Mrs. Pope.
Yeah, they loved her before I knew I did. You know what I'm saying? Put it like that.
So if you had any advice, because we're gonna wrap it up. If you had any advice to give to people who, other than all the advice you gave about the kids already, let's stick with the marriage. Because I know, like I said, I know when we talk about triggers and trauma, them kids definitely, and they have every right to trigger you. I'm not downplaying it at all. Like I said, my heart goes out to you, and I'm definitely praying. But if you had some advice to give to these young men, and I want you women to listen as well, because again, he said something that was very important, and I didn't know this about you, so I might have to bring you back on in October to discuss abuse from a male's perspective, being abused by a woman, and trying to do the best you can to remain a man and do like your mama raised you and not put your hands on a woman unless it's in a loving way. But again, I tell people all the time, and this is a sidebar, and I'm not going to go into it, because I'm a domestic violence advocate, because I have my own not-for-profit, when I deal with women who I could tell that they have that adjutant and they like right on the edge and they do stuff too, I tell them as well, you know, sometimes, you know, men will withhold themselves because they're already fighting the world. They're already, you know, especially within the last few years, we see how they have no regard for the black man or black people, period, right. But definitely the black man. And you know, you out in the world getting beat up. The last thing a man wants to do is come home and not have peace as well. And when you nitpick and you pushing buttons and you know you pushing buttons and then you want to push on them and put your hands on them and it's not a loving way and you're expecting them not to react or respond, every negative action gets a negative response. And you have to realize when you're doing what you're doing and back the heck off, and you can't cry wolf or cry that you've been hurt when you sat there poking the bear. You keep poking the bear and you wake it up. You can't be, you responsible. No, you are responsible for how that bear treats you. And if he mauls your, oh, I almost cussed. If he mauls you,
be nice, sis.
if
Be
the
nice.
bear mauls you, no, I mean, not trying to be real negative, but you earned it. Wholehearted. And I'm somebody for real. When I go out here and I tell people all the time, I don't believe in nobody putting their hands on nobody, but that's females included. That's definitely men, but definitely female, because it's females out here that are more ruthless than these men. And when the man strike back because they've been abused for years and years and years, and they finally said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And when like you trying to walk out of a door to avoid a situation, and they want to jump in front of you and say you ain't going nowhere and you must want this smoke, you know what? Sometimes they deserve the smoke. And you can't cry. You can't call the police and say this man put his hands on you without saying that you put your hands on him first. Okay, I digress. I'm sorry. So, Mr. Pope, if you could give some sound advice, some good nuggets that would help some of these people that are contemplating marriage, even those people who may be contemplating divorce, to encourage them and let them know that it's not always a bad thing, in your own words.
All right. Well, the thing is this. Excuse me. First of all, you got to know thyself. Like, you got to know you. Like, I didn't know who I was. Like, I didn't know that I had all these issues. I didn't know that. I just know I didn't really like me growing up, right? But I didn't know that insecurity was a part of my identity at the time. You understand what I'm saying? And you got to know yourself to the point to where you got to know what your triggers are. You got to know, like, if you grew up in a dysfunctional household, regardless of how many years it's been, like, if you were shaped and molded in that environment, unfortunately, that is a part of your upbringing and that is a part of you. And you have to know that. You got to accept that. And you got to be willing to be courageous enough to check that. You got to meet that head on. You can't just say, well, I'm going to wait till something happens, because when something happened, it may be too late to work on it then. So know yourself, first of all, and then you have to know who you are with. If you're with a person and you notice that person brings out the worst in you and not the best in you, if that person is not helping you, but most of the time hurting you, and that's for male and female. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you got to pay attention to that stuff. If they don't respect you when they're, excuse me, I'm sorry, got to get some water in me.
Go ahead, get some water. Sip on, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if the person don't respect you.
Hey, family. Hey, relentless.
Right on. Hey, everybody. If the person doesn't respect you when you're dating, like, don't think that because when they get a title, they just gonna start magically respecting you, because chances are when these titles come into play, people get more comfortable. They get more relaxed, and all the stuff that they were doing to try to impress you and try to win you, like, that stuff stops. You understand what I'm saying? And then the real them really manifests. And then you look back and you be like, well, I just thought that it was. No, you can't just think. You got to pay attention. You got to be aware. Again, know thyself and know who you're dealing with. And the whole purpose of people coming together, excuse me, is to build. Like, you're not supposed to argue face to face. First of all, you fight side by side with each other. Like, never attack each other. Never turn the aggression, never turn the frustration on each other. And if it's a situation where y'all can't have a communication without the anger, without all the frustration, look, you might need to talk at another time. You definitely got to communicate about it, but you can't communicate with these hands. First of all and foremost, it is not okay for a man to be putting his hand on a woman, and it's definitely not okay for a woman to put her hand on a man either. And I know that's hard to hear, because you watching the movies all the time. The dude will say something slick and the girl will just throw some champagne in his face, or she'll smack him and it's okay. Listen, and people always talking about, well, you know, he's a coward. He put his hands on. Well, listen, man, like, you're a coward if you keep letting anybody put their hands on you and you never defend yourself at all. You understand what I'm saying? So I need you to understand these are signs of a toxic relationship. These are signs of lack of respect. You understand what I'm saying? If every time this man talk to you or he gets upset with this man, you got to call him something outside of his name, that's a problem. And how can you build upon a broken foundation? I'm going to say that again in case they didn't hear that. How can you build upon a broken foundation? If the foundation is broken, if the foundation is weak, then you can't build upon it, because the more pressure goes upon it, the more weight goes upon it, eventually it's going to break, it's going to cave in to the pressure. So you got to know yourself. You got to be willing to get counseling. Men, you can't be afraid to get counseling. Like, that is not a sign of weakness. That's one of the best things that I personally could have done, because if I wouldn't have gotten counseling, then I would have damaged, right, a perfectly good woman that had never been married, that had never experienced a divorce or any type of issues. If I would have brought that same baggage into this marriage, where do you think we would be at right now? Right? Same thing for the women. You cannot bring baggage from your last relationship into a new relationship. And those of you who are contemplating divorce, first of all, if there's any way or if there's any chance to fix, I'm all for fixing the marriage and repairing the marriage, right? But it takes two. It takes two. How can two walk together? It's the word of God. How can two walk together except they agree? So if you're trying to get counseling and you're trying to work on you, and the other person is just trying to do what they can do, if you feel what I'm saying, like, that's not two walking together. You understand what I'm saying? So if the person you're with is not willing to invest the time and invest the energy to work on themselves and work on the marriage, then that's a red flag. That's an indication that you may be in it by yourself. And you don't want to allow yourself to become nobody's doormat, because a man can become a doormat just like a woman can become a doormat if you keep allowing people to step on you. And if they stepping on you 7 days out of a week, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but chances are you have become a doormat. And they're going to do that because you're allowing them to do it. So don't be afraid to get counseling. Don't be afraid to work on you. And ultimately, grab you some mentors, some people that have a successful marriage, so that you can see what it looks like. And somebody just posted in the comment, hey, man, that's man Nikki's real estate agent, man. Hey, Wanda. You know, she said, God's will be done. I will not rent. She meant that. Ever since we met her, we don't rent no more. Anyway, that was just a little shameless plug right quick. You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, God's will definitely has to be done in your life. And sometimes our will, I'm sorry, it's not God's will. You understand what I'm saying? You can want things to work. You can try to force things to work. But if it's not God's will, I'm sorry, I don't care what you do, it's not going to work. And you can want some things you can be trying to get away from a marriage that God wants you to really. Some people be trying to run from the marriage, but it's you the problem. You trying to run, but you finna run and you finna take them problems with you. So again, you got to be willing to look at yourself in the mirror and identify you. You got to know your strengths, you got to know your weaknesses, and you got to be willing to compromise. Two people can't be one whole person and then get married and be two whole people. Both of y'all got to be willing to let at least 50% of you go in order for you to become one. It's impossible for two whole people to merge and become one, because somebody's still going to have some parts that they don't want to let go. Somebody's still going to have some ego. Somebody's still going to have some this, some this. Oh, well, this is just me. I've always been like this. Well, I tell you what, if you keep being the way you've always been, and you're going to keep getting what you've always gotten. So you're going to have to become something different if you want something different. So if you want to become a successful husband or a successful wife, then guess what? You're going to have to learn what that is. And you're going to have to be willing to let go some of those things that make you happy, because you got to be willing to sacrifice yourself to make the other person happy. So the last thing I want you to know is, before you make any decisions, critical decisions about a marriage, or about, especially with you trying to get divorced and you got kids involved, just know that it's not a matter of when, of if, it's a matter of when. It's definitely going to affect those children. And if y'all can't get along in the marriage, listen, man, the least you can do is get together and raise them kids right, because guess what? They had no part in what you did when you did what you did to create them. So it ain't their fault. And your pain and your hurt does not have to be their pain, and it does not have to be your hurt. So stop making excuses and start working on you, because when you see Pope, you got to know his purpose over pointless excuses. You understand that? And blaming her or blaming him, that's a pointless excuse. You got to be man enough to look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm insecure. Yep, I don't know how to take it when somebody talking to me disrespectfully. Yep, I don't know how to control myself. Yep, you got to be willing to face that, bro. You got to be willing to face that, sis. You understand what I'm saying? You can't build yourself up by tearing somebody else down. If it makes you feel good to tear that woman down, then I'm sorry, bro. You are not the man that you think you are. And if it makes you feel good, sis, to tear that man down, then I'm sorry, you are not the woman who you think you are. We are to build each other up, right? We're supposed to pour life into one another, edify one another. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, that book is on the way too. I see you, Wanda. That book is on the way. I'm writing that thing as we speak. I'm like 15,000 words in. I got about maybe 5,000 more words, and it's gonna be done. Anyway, that's it, sis. I'm giving it back to you. You know what I'm saying? I seen that, so I had to address that.
I want to, you know what? First of all, I want to say thank you so very much. This was much more than what I thought it was going to be. You are amazing. Nikki is amazing. How long have you and Nikki been married now?
We've been married now. We're going on 5 years in that giant.
Look at that. Look at that.
5 years in the thing.
Look at it. And 5 is the number of grace. So you know it's only going to get better.
And we still like each other. We still like each other.
And y'all still like each other.
Yeah, we still like each other. Yeah.
That's amazing. So do me a favor. You just gave some awesome nuggets. Like I said, you all please share this with your family, friends, enemies. It don't make a difference. Share it with them, because if something was said tonight that will bless somebody in some shape, form, or fashion. If you like content like this, please go back to my page. I do have several interviews for this month. I'm going to try to do a different topic every month. I think divorce will go over into September because I'm on vacation this week. So I might have a couple.
Don't be bragging. Don't be like, look, don't be bragging. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, you know what? We're going to talk, you know, don't even do that. Don't do that. Because we can't go. We can't go. Don't even tell us that.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. So, okay. So tell people what you're up to and what you got going on and how they can get in touch with you if they want you to grace their platform and come over to their schools or come over to their colleges or talk to the insurance company people and all.
Oh, you telling all my business, ain't you?
Hey, they need to know.
Yeah, I do all of the above. Listen, you can, first of all, if you're on this live or if you're going to be listening later, follow me at Demont Pope. You can also plug in. My website is demontpope.com. You can DM me. Like I just got a DM today about an event that's about to happen September the 4th. It's a back to school event that's going on in South Fulton County here in Atlanta with the police department. And ain't that something, how you go from being on the wrong side of the law to now you doing work in the community with the police? Tell me God won't do it.
Gotta do it. Won't he do it? Won't he will? Won't he will?
Won't he will? Yeah, he will. So yeah, I got that going on. I got a lot of things in the works right now. If you want me to be a blessing to your people on your platform, on your live, I don't mind a DM. My wife is putting all of my information right here. See what I'm saying? She keep me on point. You get what I'm saying?
She own it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You can email info@demontpope.com for general questions. And if you serious and you about that action, you can go on and go, booking at demontpope.com and then go and fill out them little bullet points in that booking, and then we can talk that business. You dig what I'm saying? But until then, sis, I just want to thank you for this opportunity, this platform. I want to thank all the people who took time out of their day to listen to you and I, you know what I mean, act crazy like how we do. It got emotional, you know what I mean? So y'all done seen your boy cry without the tears falling because I kept having to wipe them. So I couldn't see them coming down my eye.
That's that pastor sweat. That's that pastor sweat, that ministerial pulpit type sweat.
Yeah. So I'm just grateful. I just thank God, you know what I mean? And I just want people to know that you can be a mess and God will turn it into a miracle, because you're looking at a mess that God turned into a miracle. I never thought that I would be a blessing. I never thought that I would be inspiring anybody. Like I see my little birthday twin right here, Ryan the GOAT, man. That's my little brother. We share the same birthday, man. I love you, young king. I be seeing you every time I'm on something, bro. But no matter what you're going through, just know, man, that God can and God will. You understand? But you gotta let him. You gotta let him.
Amen.
I'm not gonna get emotional no more.
Now,
I'm not gonna get emotional no more with you.
If y'all want to bless the pastor, you might have to ask Nikki, DM Demont or either Nikki, and ask him for his cash app. Praise the Lord.
Absolutely.
Praise the Lord. I promise you, I love you.
I love it.
I love Nikki. You too, y'all are amazing. I'm so glad that we are connected. I'm so glad that God allowed us to meet and cross paths. Thank you for blessing my IG page and my live with your wisdom, with your words, with your transparency, with your honesty, with just you, man. And then Nikki in the comments, commenting, laughing, giving commentary. You are the bomb.com. Look, I said in the DM, don't be trying to collect money on my live.
She dropped
baby.
it.
It was
She
a
done
joke.
dropped cash.
Look,
She
it
done
was a
dropped the
joke.
cash out. Like, send you my son. You know what I'm talking about? Literacy Innovations. Shout out to Literacy Innovations. You know what I mean? That's a dynamic tutoring company up in Cleveland, Ohio. If you in Cleveland, check out Literacy Innovations, man. Chris Pro, big bro, I see you, man. Shout out to you. Much love. Just everybody, man. I'm just full right now.
Thank you all for following, for coming on to support Demont. If you all like, and like I said, if you like this content, please follow me as well. Every month will be a different topic. If it's something that you all want to talk about, because I am taking polls and ideas for you, whatever, Nikki. I am taking.
She's a doer. She's a doer. She gets it done. I'm telling you.
I am taking suggestions for open conversation because, again, we can't be better as a people if we don't have the difficult conversations. And because for those of you who don't know me, because you didn't come on at the beginning of the live, my name is Y. Renee. I'm a trauma recovery coach. I help people identify the trauma, identify the triggers, because the trauma never goes away. And we just work through overcoming the triggers that are going to occur. And how they occur is how you deal with them. When they occur is how you get better. So that's my niche and what I do. And it's passionate for me because I've overcome so much in my life. And I'm on this side of after, and I'm thriving in it. And what is after? After is, and this is trigger moments, after is being molested as a child. After is being a domestic abuse survivor. After is trying to take my life, attempting suicide 4 times and failing. After is being gunned down and shot 4 times in my lower back. It'll be 13 years this December. And even after all of that, I'm still here. I'm still smiling, and I'm still trying to help others, because that's what we do. When we have things like this, thank you. When you go through something, there's pain in your purpose. And how dare I try to take my own life 4 times? And then somebody have the audacity to try to take my life after I failed to take my own life, and I don't show of God's goodness, mercy, understanding, and the fact being that He's still a miracle worker. Not only should I be dead, but since I didn't die, I got struck 4 times with bullets in my lower back. I should be paralyzed. I should need kidneys and be on dialysis because all my vital organs are hit except for my heart. And if I didn't tell people I got shot, you wouldn't know I was a gunshot victim. You wouldn't know that I survived what I've been through, and I have the documentation to prove it. So this ain't just talk. I got the papers.
You got the receipts.
I got the receipts. You hear me? So when I say in all honesty that, when you go through something, I had to learn that after having self-pity, after being depressed, of being shot, and the reason why I believe behind why I was shot, that if I'm still here, it's not about me. It can't be, because if it was about me, if I didn't die, I would be paralyzed, have some type of ailment, be still sitting in somebody's house. But because I have no real physical ailments, I have no choice but to give God glory, to share my story, and pray that it helps somebody else understand that if I can make it, you can make it too. And that's what these lives are about. That's what these conversations are about. I'm still triggered by the word divorce. I'm still triggered by, attempting to find that healthy relationship, or let that healthy relationship find me, to decide whether or not I want to be married again. I still struggle with that. I believe in the institution of marriage. I think it's a beautiful thing. I admire Demont and Nikki and other people that I've had on my platform that have found love again and have remarried, and they're thriving in their marriage. I don't envy it. I admire it. And at one point in time, I wish the same for me, but there are so many things that still trigger me. That's why I'm having these conversations. These people ain't on here just to help y'all, honey. They helping me. Come on here, somebody. You got to help the message. The message helps the messenger. So since my message was, let's talk about all things divorce, I need somebody to come in here and help me to help myself. So I want to thank everybody. And I know I thank everybody by the end, but I thank everybody for coming on here and just being willing to have a conversation. I was amazed. I asked a few people if they wanted to come share their story. However, several people asked me, could they come share their story? So for me, it's twofold. It's a blessing because they wanted to come share, but it's a blessing because they felt comfortable enough to share it on my platform and allow me to ask them sensitive questions and, you know, and go deeper if they want to go deeper. However, if they did not pull back. But everybody has been so open, so transparent. And like I said, if you haven't watched the lives, go back and watch them. I think that you all will find a lot of good content. And again, I'm not pro-divorce. I'm not. Unless it's going to save your life, unless there's just no out, unless there's just something that you all cannot come to a medium of surviving and making your marriage work. I am definitely pro-marriage, and I believe in the institution for marriage. I believe that the reason why some of these things don't happen is because counseling is not in place and people don't know how to have those difficult conversations and people don't know how to respect other people's feelings. We don't have to agree on everything. Absolutely. But we have to respect each other's perspective and understand that my feelings matter just like your feelings matter. And that's, I think, where people drop the ball. So with saying all of that, I just need people to understand that when conflict occurs, like Demont said, if you got to go to your corner and calm down, count to 10, turn your back, turn around the circle 10 times, drop down to the floor, pick it back up, whatever you got to do to calm down so you can come back to the table again in the middle and then discuss it like adults and come to a happy medium, then, you know, really that's when you need to bring mediators in. And until you just can't do, you've done all that you can. All that you can. I mean, really put forth over 150% effort because a marriage is not 50-50. It's 100 and 100. You can't give half or nothing and expect it to be whole. Period.
You got to give it everything you got.
Period. So I'm through preaching. I'm off my soapbox for tonight. My brother, thank you again so much. You are amazing. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for joining me. I can't wait to have you back on. For those of you who do not know, because he did not mention my platform, but that's okay. He ain't got to talk about me. I'm going to talk about me. I have some things going on.
I was going to get to it, but
no, I get it, bro. I get it. For myself, I will be in, as of right now, unless something changes, I will be in Dothan, Alabama, second weekend in September, speaking at a suicide prevention event. The 18th of September, I would love for you all to support me by buying a virtual ticket. Unless you're in the Detroit area, then you can buy an in-person ticket. But I will be speaking on a huge platform of the Sean Fair Experience, and I'm so excited about that, and the doors is going to open. But that is September 18th. There's a possibility I will be traveling the rest of the month, but those things are kind of secret. I can't put those out there yet. But what I'm talking about with my brother Demont, and he agreed to bless my stage.
What up, Michi? I see you, boy.
He agreed to bless my stage. The Level Up tour is a tour that I started at the beginning. We started talking about the beginning of this year, but I actually we did Houston in May. We did Chicago in the earlier part of this month, and we will be in Atlanta, Georgia on November 6th. Tickets are on sale now. That information is on my page, and if it's not on my page, I will get on it, and it will be on my page very soon. I am working on I have my team working on a little special flyer for my brother here, so he can look kind of stand out.
Oh, don't do it too.
But I'm honored because he's going to grace my stage, and he'll be the first male that has been a part of the Level Up experience. I wanted men to be a part of this platform, but a lot of times when you have women doing stuff, because I'm just speaking truth, there's a lot of things that we dominate, and sometimes the speaking world in certain aspects is where we dominate, just like some places in churches we dominate. And some men did not gravitate to me, but I thank God for connecting. I thank God for the connection. I thank God for him putting Demont on my heart when I met Demont in person to fill a void, and that he agreed and said yes, and his personal secretary / first lady said that it was okay and checked his calendar and put me on the calendar immediately. So I appreciate that. So you all who are in the Atlanta, Georgia area, I need you. If you don't want to come out, you don't know me from a can of paint. Y'all know, you know your boy. If you don't want to come out and see nobody else, I need you to come out and see your boy. Tickets are $35. Tickets are just going to be $35, which is not a lot when you're getting 7 amazing speakers. And probably a few extras will be thrown in. And we're giving good content to teach people how to level up in life. So if you're looking to write a book, if you're looking to change careers, if you're looking to come out of a place called stuck, this is the place where you need to be. We also have vendor opportunities if you want to be a vendor. The vendor tables are $100, and it includes 2 tickets. So that means it'll be you and a ticket for yourself and a ticket for one other person if you need an assistant or somebody to come. And you know, I might be running some specials and some deals. You know, I got a few months to put this thing out, so y'all just stay tuned. Y'all never know what I might have up my sleeve, right? So it's going to be in the Atlanta Buckhead area. It's going to be at the Hampton Inn and Suites right on Piedmont Street. If you all
so
decide,
it's safe, y'all. It's safe. It ain't in the hood.
It's safe. It ain't in the hood. It's safe. Went and seen the venue myself. Hello, somebody. If you all decide that you want to make this a trip where you want to come down and support us and you're not in the Atlanta area, inbox me. I do have rooms set aside at a special discounted price. I would love to have you all there in the room. It will be amazing. And for the last time, thank you, Demont.
Well,
the last
time
for this
everything.
Live. Look, the last time for this
live.
Live. Just for this Live.
We
Not
gonna work.
the last
We got
time.
some work to do.
The last time, right. So I just want to say thank you, God bless you. You are definitely in my prayers. You said so much that blessed me. And I pray with your transparency that God continues to enlarge your coast and that people will see what you're doing and just need your energy in their place and that the doors continue to open up for you. So you are amazing. So with that being said, you all.
Thank you.
Good night for now. I love you too,
love y'all
bro.
too.
I love you. And I love everybody who's joining me. Again, thank you for joining me. Please follow me. Well, this is good night. This is good night for now. You all probably won't see me live again until next Monday.
You going on vacation? We know.
I'm gonna post some. I'm gonna post some things. You know, I don't know. I might.
You deserve it.
Look, I might go live on the beach. I might go live on the beach. You know, just to say, hey,
you might well.
You know, I'm just saying. But the event will start at 9 o'clock in the morning, Christopher. The event will start in Atlanta at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Man, how you just call my bro whole name out like you rolled up together?
Because I have a mothering spirit, and he look like he need to be told. I love you too, Nikki. You are the bomb. You are the bomb.com.
I love you too, Nikki.
As she in the other room of the house, like around the corner.
Yeah, so like she way downstairs. You know, I gotta go outside, downstairs, and in the house. You know what I mean? Like this the office up here. You know what I'm saying? We don't stop clowning in front of these folks, sis. You know?
Oh my goodness. They know we human. They know we human and that we have fun. And even in all seriousness, you know, the joy of the Lord is your strength. So you got to find a little light and love in order to get through some of this stuff. So if we could bring a little laughter and joy, even after all of the difficult conversation, then we're in a good space. So we appreciate you all. So with that being said, without further ado, good night, everybody.
Good night.
And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Demont.
Thank you.